Yeah, so we are live. So hi guys, so we are back with our second webinar today of the webinar series Roadmap to Fundraise Post COVID-19. I'm sure you joined us in our last webinar where we had the speakers telling you about the idea validation, and now going through the roadmap, we have another set of webinar talking about how you can build strategies for MVP in the current scenario and post COVID-19 situation, because I'm sure you must be facing so many challenges with your product right now, how to go with it and how not to go with it. So today we have our speakers on the board on the panel, Mr. Chintan from Startup Voices and Dr. Ravindra Pratap Gupta who is a business consultant and who has been into mentoring startups since beginning, since very many years, mentoring the early stage startup with their strategies. Plus, Chintan is CEO of Startup Voices, who is himself, mentoring early stage startup in their strategies building to the roadmap to fundraise. So, and I am your host, Priyanka Mandani, founder and CEO of Easy to Pitch, bringing to you these speakers to share their insights on today's topic. So, thank you so much, guys, for joining us today and being there on the panel, sharing to share your insights with our viewers and other entrepreneurs who is watching us. So please, I'm giving you 2 minutes to share something about the current situation you are going through and how you're looking the atmosphere in the startup ecosystem currently.
This is question to audience.
You guys, Chintan and sir. So you can, any of you can start.
You can start, and I'll then join in later.
Sure,
Yeah.
sir.
I will add to it. See, current situation, even we established people who are running businesses, who are mentoring businesses, we also had to readjust our strategy. The readjustment of strategy, be it finances that we were having at hand, be it team alignment, be it the very focused approach, changing the strategy of focus which was pre-COVID, now this COVID times. And for post-COVID also strategy, I'll give you a very small example in HR in detail once I go, because I am having one of the HR consultancies which is 7 years old, very difficult. 2008, many closed during the slowdown. But we have been able to realign the strategies. All our team is working and work is nowhere less. Now people are amazed asking us how the work is nowhere less. I'll share the details as I go in details since you gave me 2 minutes. So in that 2 minutes, I don't want to go in depth calibration detail of that. But once questions come in, when we explain how to make it possible and take the examples out of that. In tough scenarios, the toughest area, the talent acquisition strategy of an HR consultancy and the talent management, how we are succeeding and with the clients again. Okay. So Priyanka, you can carry on with.
Yeah, so Chintan, please share your inputs and your views.
Yeah, so I think as Mr. Gupta mentioned, it's a very challenging time, not only for startups, for virtually everyone. But I would say that there are essentially some things which are obviously more challenging for startups, but there are certain aspects which can potentially be an opportunity also for startups, right? So challenges we all know, whether it is the fact that customers are not buying, and if it's not an essential product, cash flows are weak, uncertainty, etc. I mean, those are challenges for everyone, whether it's a startup or a conventional business or a large company. But I think one area where startups should also be looking at this as a potential advantage or something that they can leverage on, maybe advantages perhaps the right word, is the fact that startups are more nimble, right? So the topic of your discussion is MVP. The startups are typically in an MVP mode. They are experimenting. They are piloting. There are certain things which are definitely going to change. I mean, we are already seeing them change, rapidly, and a lot of things are going to change, and they're going to stay like that for times to come. So therefore, there's an opportunity for, and to that extent, the consumer behavior is changing, and some industry structures may also change. So there's an opportunity for startups because they are nimble enough to ride on that opportunity. So I will just stop there. So I think that while there are challenges, there are also opportunities, and we need to look at both the things, not simply get bogged down by the challenges only, but also look at what are the opportunities it throws up, whether it's for a pivot, whether it's taking your business online, whether it's exploring new business models. Yeah.
Great, great. So, starting with my first question from both of you would be, I'm sure you guys, you both mentor so many startups at early stage, at like series stage and seed stage. So, when we talk about MVP, it's a very, very early stage from idea validation to a next stage where you are making your product. So, according to you, what can be the best practices to get your MVP, your product validated before going and directly pitching to the investors or even your customers? Who will be paying to you?
Yeah, can I start with? Yeah. See,
Yeah.
Priyanka, first of all, a lot of many enthusiastic entrepreneurs who just come into entrepreneurship, they don't do their calculations right. Or in terms of funding at hand that they have to start with, in terms of engineering, in terms of operations that they have to run, they what I'm seeing now, those plannings that have gone wrong in terms of not making the product that is actually viable or valuable in the market, viable and valuable. It could have least features when you're bringing in the market. Be an IT product or be a non-IT product where you know you're competing with the already existing products, or with an IT product where you're having some difference, but you're not giving full-fledged featured product. There's kind of startups when they're coming in the market, either a unique startup or which is already existing, and competition is there. They make a prime mistake that they have not given the calculations to the funding at hand, be it 3 months, because normally a study at NASSCOM has been done, 80% of the 70% of startups rather, or to 80%, have got 3 months of funding at hand, who have initially started on, and then 6 months is somewhat close to 20%. So these startups have made the mistake. I'm getting regular calls from these startups also, where their operational people, they have chosen, first of all, there's a shortage of manpower. People have gone back to their hometowns. People work from home. Every startup, is not able to afford giving them laptops, everything. Those who have started on, fine. They're again having financial issues to salaries. So their minimum viable product, when they have already made, that should take the plan that you never knew that Corona will hit, first of all. But starting signals came in March, and you knew the lockdown of 7 and 21 days started. Even that time also the minimal manpower, which is for a minimum viable product, which is required, retained that. If you would have retained that in non-essential, see, for startups, even putting them on a leave without pay is not easy today, because it was a great circular, April salaries you have to give, March to May, April salaries, and that government has now in recent circular on 18th May, they have removed that clause because of Supreme Court issue, which they cannot pay if they are not getting revenue. So revenues were struck for all these startups. And I had interacted personally with many of these startups. This is the revenue is not coming for the clients we have started. So minimal viable product that you are making, first of all, I would say first test that very aggressively among the visionary people, your early adopters, you feel so. And that product should have, first of all, that minimal features that take care of the value of the product. So if you're making an IT app, I'll give you an example. And so many apps are there in the App Store and Android Play Store. So people would use your app. If they don't find it easy to use, if they don't find some extra features, they may not progress further, because they may go for other apps available. And they will see the competitive reviews that start coming, because people have a habit. Online, they start reviewing everything. You will get some reviews, and that reviews, even 5 reviews make a difference. First of all, the product has to be in such a way that minimal features also, it takes care of the customer requirement. Then you should have adequate operational team to take care of that minimal development stage also. You don't lose the track, because you have some time for minimal development. Suppose you have launched to say under 200 customers. You're not grown a full-grown project, because that will cost you more when you add so many features, so many extra things in that. Like a matrimony portal came up, I know very well. The basic features of the matrimony portal were there with that businessman. Fine. It's getting the grooms and bridegrooms registered now. You are giving the service of identification of the so-called PAN card or so-called Aadhaar card. KYC, you're doing it now. And then you're not having those spammers who are coming in for those, and those who are actually not the right people. You've done the minimal. You're seeing it as success. You got some 500 on that. You did some digital marketing, which was as per your plan and as in budget. Keeping your budget in control. That guy was success. He was a startup company, but his budget was in control. Even in this phase, I said, don't, even minimal product, now you can expand. But it is not the right time immediately to expand, because you see there is already competition in the market. You've got so-called Shaadi.coms, you've got matrimony sites, so well doing well. So best is do some small expenditure so that you can pay the team which is there with you, because you have to retain your team. You cannot let the important team go, which is maintaining the back end of your IT company. At the same, because IT, if you have a team of 20 also, it is less, and actually a team of 4 is also equally good or bad. So I said, maintain the team, give that service, get enrolling the customer, minimal spend on digital you do, because technology-oriented companies in this era can survive. But only thing, don't expand so fast. See what is the next. Is Maharashtra going to open up? We have a chief minister which is quite questionable. He doesn't easily allow many things. He is not following fully center guidelines. So see when the things open. Maybe in first or second week of June, evaluate. You want to increase your digital spend for more customers to add, gradually. See you have salaries at hand for 1 or 2 months again, because you have already been under stress. The revenues have not been so, because the minimal product that you have launched. And you have validated it's working. If validated, it's working. So it means your all thought process has gone right. You're not on the wrong track. Now he was thinking, sir, I will. I said, no, please evaluate your salaries. For the essential 4 people that you have, you should be able to pay them. Because it's startup, you can understand what the tight budgets they work on. So he said, if sir, I need to expand. If I don't do digital marketing, I won't get new customers on that. Go on social media. They're paid, non-paid, both organic and inorganic, both ways of doing it. So the way you wanted to do it. But again, if you have a co-founder, or he said, I'm doing alone. I said, have a co-founder like-minded. If you want to bring in a co-founder. If you don't want to bring in a co-founder, no issues. He said, sir, I have a friend who is very much interested. Discuss the terms with him. Don't just give a business like this, which you have created. And I've got 500 customers on board now. Discuss the terms with him. See, he's like-minded. Can he contribute in terms of IT? Don't just bring it for money purpose. If tomorrow you need assistance in terms of technology, because he's a technologically sound person, he's from the same background of mine. I said, that's fine. Then you should sit to discuss with him on Zoom call and all on phone, and finalize those terms in an MOU right now, and you can make it legal later on. And I said, see, you're not creating a special product that you need a patent or anything for this product. If it was a special thing that you are adding, then there was one feature he discussed with me, which I will not put here, because if I put that, that will go in public. That feature is not with any of the matrimony sites. I told him, this feature will work, but this feature has the life of 1 or 2 years in this country now, or worldwide also. I said, that feature will work. So what to do that? I said, patent process, you want to start at some money investments, get that along if you have funds. By the time the patent process application is put in this country, and internationally later on you can think of when you're a big company a little bit. So I advised him to carefully spend his money, not to just in name of patent. I said, you are already with the thing which others are having, so nobody will be skeptical for you. The day you put this, there are matrimonies and Simply Marry, they will copy you fast. And once they copy you fast, then the originality will be lost. By that time, you won't have that money to spend, and they will do before you. Don't do that mistake. The time is not ripe to launch that. The patent process, and then if you won't have money to spend and a co-founder which is coming to you, how much investment you need, plan your investments very well. How much you can contribute, and said, these are the bank 3 lakh crore that a fund come that we can get. I said, boss, there are many strings attached. Even government is asking banks to give. Till now, the declaration has not come to banks. I'm very much in touch with all many bankers. I said, plan these things and operationally ensure you give salaries on time. So these are some challenges of minimum viable product. When you learn, give me a practical example. A minimal viable product which a market needs. I mean, you've seen the report. Most people are lying idle and they are visiting these matrimony sites. So he got that advantage. With digital marketing and social media presence, he got that advantage. But to launch a plan or a little bit more, it will be copied very fast. And once you are copied fast, bigger competitors can do it very faster than you. So move stepwise. Your first success step is success. Ensure your team, which is important, you don't lose. Ensure the finances at hand, you don't stretch so much that tomorrow and next month to next month you are penniless, because you never know, corona is not going to go fast. Vaccine is the talked about September, October. But 2 years there, people are saying the impact is going to. So you have to assess the situation, not with the talks that you are seeing media, but actually what is happening. You see every day and you gauge the situation and wisely. Planning has to be reassessed. Focus has to be reassessed. And if it's going to be, is it your main business? So you have to see all those facts. Is it the main business, or is the business right now you're having some business and this business you want to set up? That thing also you have to. Is it your main business? Yes, then spend more wisely, more focus. Don't come up with full plan immediately. This is a minimal viable product. This is success. So if you ask me minimum viable product, I will again say, see the rationale behind your launch. Is it with your vision? See that the operational and engineering part. Are you able to handle the engineering part well immediately and afterwards also with the kind of team at hand or outsource? Later on, if you see the operational, the kind of people that you have and the kind of people that you will need with time and things subside, can you plan that in advance, realign your strategy? The non-essential ones, you can gradually let them off, because you may not be able to sustain if you have those non-essential manpower. And at the same time, ensure that the co-founder or the funding that you want, you have the right people or the right funder. Otherwise, minimal viable product also stage you can fail. And if you fail at minimal viable product, so then your own confidence goes down. That's the biggest problem. I think my friend would add much to this.
So actually, let's move the spot to Chintan, because he has been experiencing a lot of startup in his acceleration program, where he shortlists, curates best MVP for his program. So please take us to the deep insights you have.
Yeah, so I think before we jump on to best practices on creating an MVP and validating an MVP, what we also need to understand is MVP is really the a slightly more advanced stage if we look at it from a ideation perspective, right? So before we do an MVP, we probably need to do what is called as prototyping, right? And typically we use the terms alpha, beta prototypes and all that.
Yes.
So I think the difference between a prototyping and an MVP, both of these will come somewhere between the ideation and commercialization stage, is that when you do a prototype, whether it's an alpha or a beta, you are not essentially testing the business model or the customer propensity to buy or unit economics. You're not essentially testing the financial model aspects of the product. You are essentially testing the consumer acceptance of the product, right? So because that needs to come before anything else, right? So before we do an MVP, it's important that we do some sort of a prototype. We can do it through stages. The first prototype can be with a set of customers who are frank enough to give us feedback, right? So because typically the first prototype will be largely a failure, but that failure should not be something which deters us. It's something which should give us more information on what needs to be done. And maybe there can be 2-3 rounds of prototyping, and once we are fairly sure that this is what the customer is looking at, that's the time we move to an MVP stage. As I mentioned earlier, the difference between an MVP and a prototype is, one is of course that an MVP is slightly more to be used. I mean, it's a better version of a prototype. But the more important part is that we are not simply giving the product to the customer to try and to take feedback. Those are strategies we do at a prototype stage. In an MVP stage, we are almost piloting the business model of the business at a small scale, right? So we are essentially, because one of the very important things that one needs to note down or record or validate as the MVP is your customer acquisition cost. So even if you are doing an MVP with 10 customers, I mean, number is not important. You can technically do an MVP with even 2 customers or whatever, 10, 15, 20 customers. It need not be a large number. But the pilot that we do of the MVP should be such that we're able to record a lot of the data, which forms a critical element of our business model, which becomes scalable, and that's the key element of the MVP that we are validating. Right, we are able to reach out to the customer at a cost which can be recovered from the pricing of the product, whether we are able to acquire the customer and whether the customer some propensity to repurchase that product or service. If it's a product or service such that there are frequent repurchases. So I think let me pause at that stage. What I'm essentially saying is that there needs to be a prototyping stage where we are not going with the financials and the customer propensity to buy. And when we do MVP, there's a lot of data we need to capture, which gives us validation on what should be the business model for the product ahead. Yeah.
Correct. So coming to that point that you just ended up with, Chintan, there are many times that I see in founders and prototypes that they at the same time target 5 to 6 products. Right, so features mainly. Suppose one feature is they are targeting, delivery of medicine. At other point they are targeting the consultant of doctor, like doctor consulting. So at same time they are focusing on 5 to 6 features in that MVP, and they end up doing a disaster in finding, going into the market. So how to tackle these situations with the founders at early stage?
Yeah, so as the name suggests, minimum viable product, it's a minimum product. I mean, it's got 2 terms. It's got a minimum term and it's got a viable term, right? So what it means is that it needs to be a very minimalistic product. So therefore, if you are thinking of 5 features in your product at some point of time in the future, at the MVP stage, there should really be one feature which you think is the most important, and therefore that creates the minimum viability, right? If in the example that you gave, it's the delivery time, or it's the quality of the pharma or whatever it is, that is the key thing, then that's the key which needs to be validated through an MVP. I mean, if you try to bring 5 or 6 features into the product, then you really do not have the information. Also, maybe what the customer really values feature number 2, but you have built in 5 products, 5 features, and because of that, the cost of the product is such that the customer enough value. So had it been just the feature 2, he would have seen enough value of buying it at that particular price. So you may actually end up invalidating MVP if you build too many features into the product. Because as I mentioned earlier, the important point is also to validate what's the price at which the customer accepts that product, right? And shows a propensity to repurchase. I mean, that's the other important thing. The customer may have bought it once, but then he goes sort of disappear, not to do anything with you.
Right.
That is not a validated MVP. The customer needs to at least show some propensity to repurchase. Yeah.
Right. What about you, sir, Ravinder, sir?
I would say, if your example only I will take, it depends upon the kind of operational team you have and what research you have done. Then your vision and positioning plays a part. If your vision is you want to create an online pharmacy, okay, there are many who have done. NetMeds is there, or XYZ pharmacies are there, but you want to do that. Now you're coming with a minimum viable product. You cannot compete with those so-called big companies immediately. But yes, you want to cater to the market with the products, pharmaceutical products, nutritional products, which you get the agreement signed in and you get them to, okay, that is one you are putting as one major feature. First, positioning is important. If you position 5 now, you will not be, but you have to give some supplementary ads which your team can handle. Suppose you can handle the consultant part and bring in because any pharma product today, if you bring in, there are many people without prescriptions you can't supply. So it's a mandate, you have to have it. You like it or not. So certain things, when you're in certain sectors, a positioning with the essentiality is also important. A minimal viable product is also called minimal experimentation product and minimum awesome product. So experimentation also you're doing, and awesome doesn't mean unique. Awesome could be the same thing which others have done, but your website is flawless in terms of working. Website doesn't open so slowly, it opens fast. What are the products you are loaded which are not having your website is showing that it can be made available. So you have to see how the main positioning, which is the supply of medicines, I give example, or a major positioning is not hampered because the additional inputs of a viable product that you're adding. And then see your cost. See if adding that particular thing, the cost doesn't increase for you and for customers. So I'm just giving one example, but all in practical scenario, if you see, if you're adding 2, 3, 4 features also, your main positioning is one. But the 2, 3, 4 features don't add additional cost, but the first step only customer gets a wow experience. Okay, this product at this cost, I'm getting 4, 5 features. Why am I spending so much high amount for the other product which is in the market? So that time, it's an awesome experience. You may not have 10 features which the competition has. You may have 4 features, 5 features, which is a minimal viable product you created because your costing was adjusting that. And at the same time, the costing for the customer is adjusting that. So it has become viable for you also. It has become viable for customer also. Now you want to add 3 features that are important, but your costing is not supporting you. So that time, even those so-called visionary customers you want to have initially, with whom you're experimenting, I say that, your experiment may go wrong. And I tell you, what is the biggest problem with this? Your self-motivation comes down, the team motivation comes down. People say failures, but today's millennials take so much of the heart. Now, if first thing fails, now they feel the word has gone. I should not try. So you just have to think and research properly your finances first. Essential features which a product should have, first, second, third, fourth. Positioning, number 1 feature which you really are positioning in the market, not those additional features. Additional features don't cost you extra, that the operational cost is burdened. Take care of that. At the same time, customers accept it at the minimal cost also which you have given and the minimal viable features. The customers say, yes, it is worth of taking this product compared to the competition. See, I'm talking of these layman terms because I understand and he is also very experienced. I really saw the kind of words that he has used. I feel we both carry that same experience. But today, as customers, me or you, if I'm trying an app also, let's say, example, Priyanka, you try an app and say that app is like Ola and Uber, and somebody has brought it. He's trying a minimum viable product. Say it was CEO cabs before that, when it came into the market. When we saw here, almost all things we are having, only the privilege membership is not there. Almost everything is having, the cost is less. The drivers are quite economical on that. We sold to the concept initially. And the caps made a very strong, and then when they exploded with so many things later on, they viable say they become permeable for the long run. So you have to see your costings as very important, your vision aligned. And then with minimal viable, your costing and the customer cost is also taken care of. If that is not taken care of now, and your cost is also derailed, then you will also not be in the market. That is
So, sir,
important.
I
What I
want
feel.
to make a question to you for that. Just you mentioned that the financials are very much to be considered when you're doing MVP. But if the example that you have taken for Ola and the app that we had, the companies that we had before, doesn't it? It has a difference of user experience, because earlier the user experience was not as tech based or upgraded as Ola or Uber had, and that's how it became easier for the drivers and the customers to use it. That means they tested and brought a best version of the product, and then they sold in the market. So that's how they presented their prototype or MVP, and became better in the market. If I like how financials work here.
I'll tell you, Priyanka. See, you see, Ola has a very widespread coverage in the country. Maximum good big towns it's covering. Uber also the same thing. But when you see CEO caps got launched, CEO caps was cheap, economical, and that was something the term which they had positioning. So Ola that time and Uber that time, and the people compared who started using, and this by word of mouth they publicized. They didn't spend so much on those digital platforms the way these brands are. But that was they wanted to make the viable product with their costings less for customer, less for drivers, because they charge very less for the drivers also. The percentage share is very less. I interacted with a lot of drivers. When somebody told me, why don't you try this? I said, Ola and Uber, I'm accustomed to it. Why should I go on that? He said, try once. We tried. We saw the service because not many people were there on that. Ola and Uber, not many people were trying. We easily got the caps. We got the rates also economical. The initial phase of testing when they launched was superb success, because customers like us, when we saw, we said, so 10 features are not there, privilege membership is not there, we are getting the drivers, and drivers also very fast switch on that. So the initial minimal viable product became success. Today they are the app with most modernized features. So they spend their money judiciously. They even didn't overcharge their both side of customers, whether it was a driver, whether it was the customer who was traveling. So a minimal viable product, if you see in this case also, it was success. Because I can tell you, there is no limit to the amount for minimal viable, depending upon the industries, depending upon the product that you want to launch. So suppose you want to come in FMCG segment, for example. FMCG segment today, you want to bring a person who is short in the market, Maggie is not there. And you want to make a minimal viable product or innovative product or so-called just what is in the market. You would have to see, can you compare with the taste or the masalas of Maggie? Just creating a noodles will not sell. Customer may experiment when he's not getting, but once those, or maybe some loyal set of customers, you put some customers you have tried earlier with FMCG, you are in the market, you put on them with a lower cost and inform them. They come to use your product. They find it cost is less, brand is competitive in terms of taste and all. The customers then love to imbibe, and then you have to see your costing also. What you have planned the costing, is it meeting? For initial, you may make losses in minimal viable product. I'll tell you an example of Zappos. We all know Zappos as a brand is sold to today. Correct me if it is sold to Amazon. Okay, Zappos was into shoes. The founder, if you see, he went for shoes. He didn't get the shoes that time. He said, "Let me paste the pictures. Let people can get through." He made losses initially. But he validated his model. It works online, and then he sold that company. You know very well. So minimal viable product may you have to ensure first of all the customer has an awesome experience and you have an experimental experience. Experimental in terms of what next could be my cost. Experimental, can I sustain at this cost? And experience. Then if you say awesome wise, customer is really feeling the difference. If he doesn't feel now, he will leave that your minimal viable product and he will go to the other option which is available. That failure may hurt you. So you have to research well your own finances. You have to research what minimal in which I should give so much feature that I sustain the cost my customer. Even if I don't make profit for an MVP, doesn't matter. Don't make the target of making profits in MVP. Ensure that you give customer the best in that minimal cost also, and you make it viable. So that tomorrow when you make a full-blown project with features, product with features, you have first only accepted well. The first impression is very important. You may fail in the first impression. You may still make it. There are many products in the world market which have made it. But it is important today, the kind of investors or funders which are sitting now, they see your first failure or success very critically. If you have to be funded by a bank, if you have to be funded by an angel investor or possibly by a venture capitalist later on, they will see the success rate from the first step you took in MVP. Everything counts in making a history very strong. So plan it well, research the market well. A healthcare segment, like we took example, is a very specific segment. You today tell me you're buying a medicine from a so-called MedPlus or XYZ, NetMats. If there is no, they say without prescription, we won't give you. And you don't have prescription, what would you do? So they have got a doctor in between. who prescribes asking you, and then they put that prescription online. So they, from the first day itself, they've got this minimal viable product, right? And they, all these people, because they're in a tough market with offline competing, they made their way. And today, see, they are becoming, still they don't have many medicines, but alternatives they show you very nicely that you can purchase the alternative. Customers have become smart. A drug which is 24 rupees is available in 85 or 120 rupees. So you have to make the customer feel the value and see what value can you sustain even if you don't make profit in MVP.
Correct, correct. So, coming to the point related to no, it's very much valid, sir. So, in continuity to this conversation only, Chintan, I want to ask you that it is said that you sell before you build, right? So, when you are selling, many people don't have a website. Many people still are in a very early stage. They have done the ideation and they have just they have reached people for feedbacks or even selling their product to at least make them first their anchor clients. So in that case, how the scenario works for the startups?
I mean, it's a sort of an ideal situation that you are able to sell before you actually make or build. I mean, it may not work for all product categories, etc. I mean, if you're talking about a B2C sort of a business where there's a physical product that you need to deliver, it may be difficult unless you are able to kind of take some advance orders or something like that. But the basic logic behind the statement is that if you have identified a gap very well, a customer pain point fairly well, and if you have at least in your mind designed a product which seems to very well address that customer problem, and if you are able to communicate that solution to the customer, then there's a chance that you may be able to perhaps take an advance sort of a thing before you actually build. The fact that the customer is willing to pay the advance, one is of course the financial, it gives you some money to work around with, but the more important fact is that one of the key assumptions gets validated. That is exactly the product or the solution. Product is of course not there, it's still to be made, but at least from a solution perspective, this seems to be the solution that the customer wants. So that's a very important validation. As I mentioned, it may not be it may not be something which is doable in a literal sense of the word. If it can be done, that's an ideal situation. Perhaps for a B2B kind of a business, it's probably more relevant where you're able to maybe sign a contract or get a 10-20% advance after you show some sort of a conceptual drawing or whatever, and that becomes essentially a validation of what you said, that you are able to sell before you actually make. But I think that's what the point is, that one should not take it very literally, but it's a very important thing. One should not build a product and then try to sell it, especially when we are talking about innovation or a new product, which is what startups do.
Right. So, adding a point to you here, Chintan, I'll just want to share my experience when I started up with my startup, like first startup 6 years down the line. I was not even ready with my product. I knew my marketplace. I knew what I have to build or my vision is, but I was in so hurry of registering my company just with a name, with like a link that I purchased on GoDaddy, and then I know that my application is there already. I spent a lot of money asking the outsourcing technical people build my application and build my website without even testing it that with this will this model work or not, and I got my company registered. So many startup founders come with this inquiry or this doubt, a thought that I'm still with a product prototype or beta phase, or I'm getting the things ready. Shall I get it trademarked or registered or patented before going for the investment raise or something like that? Because many scenarios are like that. Investors ask that if your company is registered or not, even if they have just a product. So how that works from your side in your acceleration programs and even in the other ecosystem? So both of you can answer this with your views.
You can go ahead, Mr.
I can answer, see what you said many times. See, when the founders start could be a proprietary firm, private limited, or it's a partnership. Many times they're not guided properly. They get into, suppose they want to start and they go with a private limited company. There are certain legislations with a follow-up and you have to do it. Yes, when a private limited company, from day one you start building it in the market as a standard company. That's the advantage. Or an LLP that you form, it's almost like a private limited company. And today, one-man company as a private limited is also allowed, that you all know very well. Now, when you start as this proprietorship, yes, in the initial MVP stage, if you feel that you are doing something which is almost a common one, which is not so different, but you want to test the validity and you can be a challenger in the market later on, you can start with a proprietary firm. Because a lot of regulations in proprietary firm you don't have to follow. Then a lot of the taxation part from GSTs and all, you're not a big company, so you don't need immediately. So you, at least sometimes the botherations of regulations and cost for those CAs and all, you save a lot. That is the advantage when you initially get into and you are a new businessman way. This is not another vertical where you're testing an MVP. And MVP, when you ask me to test in that scenario, that is a product that you are bringing with many features later on. If it's a product fully ready, what is there in MVP? It is not a minimal viable product that way. The product is minimal viable that if you know that today this is this feature I'm launching, tomorrow I should add that and bring a product full blown that I can be a challenger, and then I can be a full blown challenger competitor to the main in the market. Or maybe I can be a follower or whatever you want to be in that market. So you have to exactly see the costings at your end in that way. And then you have to see that what is the kind of company that you want to create. Do you want to create from day one a private limited company? Research well. Know well, a private limited company has always advantage with bankers or even with venture capitalists. Angel investors, yes, but for startups which are private proprietary firms or partnership firms, angel investors still want to come on board. Many angel investors that are request to make it private limited, you are already running. But MVP stage, it is your choice. If you feel you are going to be the business, you are going to be 10th person of the 9th person in the world, because 9 people work for the 10th, and you won't get into the 9 paradigm. So think of private limited company, though there are regulations, but they have advantages also. So
but is it fine to go for registering at MVP stage?
I would say if you are confident, you have a positivity and you know you will make a difference. It all depends on you, I can tell you. Nothing is, you may fail in MVP little bit, you may improve the product in MVP stage itself also. And so the final grown product when you're bringing in the market, if your conviction is strong, you research the market well, you know your finances well, you should register it. Because that registration from day one, if you're doing business, if you today jump in a swimming pool, you know you have to swim. Today coming, yes, a proprietary firm you can wind up, a partnership firm you can wind up, a private limited firm is processed to even wind up. So, and then the funding
private limited firm is very difficult to wind up. Trust me, sir.
I tell you, it's not easy. That's what I was saying. I'm saying it's not easy to wind up. But I said if you have already gone into the pool and to swim, so better to be doing it in a very systematic way and enjoy that privilege with the bankers to everything in from day one. If you are to come in business and you made your mind, business is the mindset. Let me tell you. Today, what COVID? There are business people who are speaking. Everything is gone. अभी 6 महीने क्या होगा पता नहीं है. Startups. अगर आप ये mindset से चलोगे तो day one से आप finished हो. See, every adversity brings advantage. So it's when you are forming a company, even you formed a company a few months back or in the process of forming a company, yes, in this time, if you ask me, I will not advise immediately private limited firm. Let the market open, let the lockdown end, then take your cold decision. But if you ask me, I advise people, want to start with if you're in a mean product which everybody is having, go with a proprietary firm, later on register it. Maybe on 6 months, 1 year.
Okay.
Or maybe a partnership firm, maybe if you want to be more standardized, LLP. And later on, maybe after 1 year, you go for a private limited. But don't prolong it as a proprietary firm for long if you want to create that equity in the market and the strength in the market. A private limited firm is always viewed by its clients and investors also very important. Trust me.
Correct.
When you say you're a private limited, so that difference is always there in the market. So it is your choice. Cost is not much that way if you ask. But yes, some compliances, fees and all those things with CAs have now become business for us and you have to give them. But that today, all startups which have gone into this pool, they have to learn. If you have to have funding, a private limited gives a lot of confidence. LLP also gives a confidence because it's a properly registered one. Process is there. But when you say I'm a partnership on a stamp paper, when you say I'm 2 proprietors with this shop and gala establishment license, that standing takes a hit. You may say your figures and bank statements would say, but the day one, see if you put right things in it's like cooking. If a cake is cooked in an oven, it is more better. You can cook that cake even in other means also. How would you like to cook? So if it is your choice, you want to be a private limited company, set the standard from day one. You won't get back and tell you, whether it was Steve Jobs or whether it was XYZ, they had certain timelines. They registered the companies or they got the companies in that shape. LLP से काफी लोग start किए हैं, ऐसा नहीं है. लेकिन आप देखिए समय पर they all moved on to a system where the company's recognition was better. India में देखिए limited company form करना आज की डेट में it's not easy. Private limited is fine. Limited में खर्च करो बन जाती है, लेकिन आपको कैपिटल ज्यादा चाहिए होता है. अभी ऐसे एंटरप्रेन्योर्स भी हैं कि हम इंफ्रा प्रोजेक्ट्स में जाने वाले हैं, हमें उसके लिए प्रोडक्ट बना रहे हैं, इसलिए हमें LLP में उतरना है. I see the confidence in people and I have seen them success. It's your internal confidence. डरोगे तो मरोगे. या तो बिजनेस में उतरो मत, be an employee 9 to 6 or be from 7 to 11 in the night, and that's called entrepreneur. And learn certain things when you're in a nice way as a private limited. I don't know, sirs, what is this take, but what I advise people, yes, initially do not form if you are a little bit skeptical. A product is same type, which is in the market common. Yeah, if it is a product which is unique, you feel you can make a difference, you have studied the market and you're bringing something, then possibly fast, once you launch an MVP, gradually you see the things building up as per your choice. Convert the company as the finances you think are in your favor and your backup of finances is there. Convert into private limited, because tomorrow you will need funding to expand. Private limited is always given a due in banks also, everywhere also. That's my take, which I have seen for so many years. Yeah.
How about you, sir? I guess you have been experiencing a lot of startups where they are at MVP stage and many of them might not be registered but still go for a raise. Have you got certain startups where you have taken them for your programs or suggested certain things to register or not before?
So, I mean, our experience has been that I mean, the current registration structure of a startup is not a huge deterrent for fundraising, right? So, in situations where it's a LLP or a partnership or something like that, the other things are fine. So the point Mr. Gupta was mentioning, so, you should be doing business in a formal manner, right? You need to have all other compliances, registrations, revenues are coming. I mean, there should not be any major non-compliance, etc. So as long as all that is in shape and your other business aspects are taken care of, investors will essentially go and tell you that now we are interested. So therefore, you kind of form a private limited company and formalize it and all that. So it's not a big issue. Of course, if you have the other point that if in case you are doing that business, not necessarily hinging it on a fundraise. In other words, a clear bootstrapping strategy also in mind, that even if the fundraise doesn't happen, this is how you will grow the business organically. In case, it probably makes sense to do it as a private limited company, especially if you are thinking of getting if there are multiple co-founders and it's a company which is at a growing stage and the basic MVP validation is done. To do an MVP probably doesn't make sense to set up a private limited company, right? Because MVP,
yes, exactly.
It could go, it could fail, it could succeed, whatever. It could lead to a new business getting created. So that doesn't make sense. But once your MVP is validated, there are revenues coming, there seems to be a clear then it probably makes sense. And definitely in case you are doing a fundraising and there is interest from the investor, then definitely it makes sense to form an private.
Understood. So my another point in mind that I had regarding a MVP stage is that like many industries, and when we talk about today's theme that we have, roadmap to fundraise post COVID-19, many people who are on MVP stage got shut down or are not able to proceed further because they are not accessible to all the resources that they were before. And no matter if they're already in an incubation or in an accelerator program or any of the cohort they are, but still the processes have stopped. So what, according to you both, could be the best industries in post COVID-19 situation or even current situations, to develop, to work with the different types of MVP, and what industries would be better for that?
I think I'll add to the point which you've asked just. See, people have started, people are stuck, people are closing. I was just talking last week to a group of entrepreneurs in one of the forums. Very much vocal, sir, we are in a very bad shape, there's no fund, we started with this stage only, we are failing, early stage. I said, boss, critically analyze the failures. Why are you failing? Vendor payments. First of all, the vendors you have taken service, you're not able to pay. The staff has been delayed salaries and you don't know next 2-3 months will it happen or not. The practical third thing is customers that need to pay you in B2B if you are. for that particular product. Or in B2C, so you may, but again, B2B, you're dealing for B2C customer to interact. You have a distribution network, suppose, and the distribution network is not paying. He says, stock is closed. What should I do? First of all, internally, with the vendors that you have to pay, have a talk with them. Okay, this is the reason why I'm delayed. I'm in the early stage, you have to support me. And if you avoid certain things, now they become complicated. Just talk to those vendors where you have not paid them, you have taken a service to build this product. Most of the times you will see they will come to support you. They also know the problem is there. You talk to your team, it could be delayed. I'm giving you half. I'll give you later on half, but I will give you. Or I would prefer to have these people whom I'm going to ensure that if I delay it also, most of the things are these kind of bottlenecks that you're facing. The product may have started, it has not failed, but these are the bottlenecks which are happening. Or now it's a die stage. Now let me suicide in terms of business. This is what is happening today. So that time, please have a talk with the team. See, I tell you, you will that time many times realize the internal part of the team's touchy effort, which they have helped you to create a product. Now, we are there with you. We will support you. See how your confidence grows up like a vodka bottle when you see the team coming to support you like this. And you didn't even think, delete the salaries, no issues. We'll ensure the work from home will go do for you. That is the commitment required. First is team. Second is your distributors or your payment vendors. Talk to your distributors also, where payments are, support us with some payments because we need your support. See, startups, many times, these super established people, when they see they're struggling, but the thing is good and it will continue. Or whether you're listed on a platform for whom you have to pay. There are certain platforms which have given a moratorium also in the payments. There are certain platforms which will give you that leverage. Openly discuss and then with your bankers. Let me tell you with whom you are banking. There are various ways. I'm talking a very simple thing. People will talk of, but I had one business which had this same problem 2 weeks back. I said, go and talk to your banker. He said, the OD facility is not there on the. Speak to OD facility so that you can meet those commitments and don't fail in what you have launched. His banker agreed seeing his condition and he got the OD on his. Government ने तो बाद में 3 लाख करोड़ अभी डाला, वो तो अभी मिलना है कि नहीं मिलना पता भी नहीं है. आएगा वो, ऐसा नहीं है, confidence is there. But ये process बहुत हो सकता है. लेकिन his banker immediately understood him and he said, this much I can help you fund. This is against FDs I can fund you. See that your costings and fundings how you can manage initially. You may get a co-partner who can come at that time so that he can save you from failing. Give that stake which you feel so is justifiable, permittable. Can he add value? Because in this stage, if you do not look into these simple ways of sustaining yourself, you may end up in so negativity now. Even the product which could have done after 1.5 or 2 months, because July, September, we are expecting things would normalize. That's what is talked about. And we are positive it should happen. So sustain that phase of difficult time and talk with your team, talk with the vendors you have to pay, talk with the distributors, talk with your bankers, get the things in shape and creatively put some time for you to think. How can I get this out of problem? How can I sustain? How can I sustain the product? My customers, my supply chain people. The logics come out, the solutions come out. There's nothing called a law of physics or chemistry that this is equal to this, you pour this, gas will come. You have to simply use your logics, and emotional and rational, both have to be balanced. And businesses today, India business, lot we do on emotions, trust me. Whether it's product, whether it is services, whether it's a supply chain member who will say, okay, are you in trouble? I'm paying you. No issue, sir, you can pay me late. No issues. You have to tell your frankness. You called me. I'm thankful. People need a reassurance. Whether it's the customers, whether it's the vendors to pay, whether it's the bankers when they see that kind of confidence and they see the old balance sheet is fine, old figures are fine. You may get that unwarranted support which is never thought of, or you will not go into depression, which normally people go. This is the simplest way for startups. You are, say, proprietary firms or say partnership firms, and very rightly we have done the discussion before going for a private limited can be later on. But if you are already a business which is established and you're just getting into the MVP with a new segment, that time you can go private limited because you know you are into business. You can take a risk.
So
you're confident. But
sorry for cutting you, sir. Like how would be which better would be the industry currently to start with MVP now and after?
See, it's a tough question to say. It is your research. See, if you see today healthcare, but not all people are knowledgeable in healthcare. Getting in healthcare, like see, there was an apparel company in Bangalore or South. They moved from apparels to making gloves and all those things and so-called masks.
Yes,
because
yes,
they researched and moved fast. Then they were and paid their salaries. Then there is something called Zomato, which is into other things, and they started delivering food. Now I don't compare for the MVP in that stage. I'm just giving examples. You have to understand the industry which is made possible. Swiggy, Super Daily, which was into milk only, has started delivering other things. You have to see the industry and synergy where MVP, what you can launch in this scenario. How can the customer come? You can reach the customer because customer is coming difficultly outside. Customer spending has gone down. Customer spending has gone down. Today, customer is focused on home, health, That is something he is conscious. Food, what he's eating in the house, and all those unwarranted spends come down. So if you bring a product which is so-called luxury, your MVP may fail this time. So think, if luxury you are bringing, that luxury should be such that the person should experiment at that cost. Bring those minimal features, but at that cost he attracts. So I'm not saying a particular sector. If you ask me, I will say IT products. A lot of people experiment in IT sector. A lot of people would say FMCG is something where I should try on. Somebody will say, see, if you talk to me, BFSI segment, if somebody wants to launch, it's a huge investment, even for MVP to launch. So you have to calibrate which segment you want to. See, I'll give you another simple example. Somebody talked to me of delivering services at home for the so-called grooming in this time. I said, practically you're saying a wonderful thing, but are the societies allowing? You tell me. So even our haircut. So I said, you have to think of the practicality. What is possible? If I say particular industry, very much I need grooming, but I won't go outside for a barber right now with a closed barber, and at the same time the conditions of the government. In this scenario in COVID, you have to make your rationalization how you can reach, or if you have a product already you have launched, please ensure that customers that you're having you sustain. You don't lose them. That should be the way out. You can say any industry, I will not focus on any specific industry. It's your way of looking in the industry, because people have made it possible in the sectors where you were not even thinking they will come in. They have done that in those sectors also in closed times of COVID. That is our take. We have to look into it, how we take it. But there are certain things you should not touch. You will yourself know that people are not coming out to buy. Next 3 months it doesn't happen, then that failure of MVP will come on your head. Better research it afterwards.
Sure. So now, as we have very less time left, I would like Sir Chintan sir to guide us with this the current scenario. Just adding on what Sir said, because I'm sure you are seeing the real startups right now going through certain ups and downs in this period.
Yeah, so I think one thing which virtually every startup, unless it's a travel startup or something to do with tourism, which is almost completely closed down, if I may use the word, is that all startups businesses will have to look at a digital transformation strategy. Basically, use technology, internet, mobile to the maximum extent possible. Even if you have a physical warehouse on the back end and let's say a store sort of a thing on the front end, you'll have to see how to make it into a sort of a hybrid low touch structure. I mean, the word that is coming out is low touch economy. So you'll have to see how to get ready for the low touch economy in all respects. It could be the back end, it could be your internal processes, it could be the front end. So that needs to be done, and there's no better time to do it now, because if you let's say if you had to, as a business, do some digital in the regular scheme of things, when business is happening, it's really difficult to do. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of the new technologies which are available out there do not adopt it, because you don't want to disrupt your sales and supply. But right now, as a blessing in disguise, the supply chain and sales, everything is disrupted, and technologies are, customers are looking to engage, customer, supplier, whoever. Everybody is waiting or looking forward to engaging with you through some sort of a low-touch digital platform. So even the supply and your current situation is such that it's favorable for doing that. There are multiple industries which will grow more, like education, skilling, perhaps healthcare, digital transformation kind of technologies, SaaS-based solutions. So that's a separate conversation. But I think as a general rule, this is the time to utilize technology to the maximum and to do the necessary changes in your business model to make sure that whatever interactions that you have with the external world, whether it's a supplier, whether it's your internal employees, whether it's your collaborators, customers, whoever it is, they are, and that creates scalability, right? The minute you have all of them on a digital platform, you are automatically scalable. So not only does it help you get over this issue, assuming you have some sort of runway with you, it also makes you scalable.
Correct, sir. So just to wrap up with one question from the audience that is coming, I'll just put it on the screen, which says, "Hi, I'm planning to launch a networking platform for retail. Have been running a Facebook group for same some targeted for the past 3.5 years. The group has 28K members with a lot of interaction happening. Should I go for a launch of website? What are your insights on this?"
Should I answer the question a little bit? Uh,
Both of you.
Both of
I
us
feel
can
just having 2 minutes to answer to
be
wrap.
very short.
Yes.
Let's select the products you want to be first very focused, which customers can purchase in these times. Keep the cost in mind and supply chain if you can maintain in that area, because very crucial for that. Get the supply chain. Whether you're making outsourced supply chain partners, ensure that agreements online. Because you rightly said, technology is going to be the biggest parameter. Any industry you choose, it has to be technology driven. It's simple. WhatsApp-based orders also. See what a Geo has done today, GeoMart, all those things. So today, even big companies are doing that. What is sellable today? What the technology can be imbibed? See those and see the supply chain. Can you arrange? This is the only mantra, and then your conviction. Your conviction and positivity is very important. Plan it well with your finances of not only conviction but finances. Can you really handle those finances? Have a proper plan in place. Do some brainstorming on yourself and with your team, and come out with something that you can sell. A supply chain can support you, and a customers can, because you already have 28K customers. Biggest asset for you. Reuse it wisely, that you don't do the track, you don't give a service when you promise. I think I'll leave on to him because he would also add his points.
Yeah, I mean, it's a slightly difficult question to answer, but I think if the person has so many customers, and as if it's not, if the supply chain and all other things are taken care of, which are really whatever, a large chunk of an e-commerce business is really the supply chain. I mean, the website and the user interface functionality is important, but it's not that intensive a process or an operation. It's really a backend supply chain which matters most. So if these things are taken care of, and if the customers are still showing interest, I mean, yeah, it makes sense to create a better user interface, and may get more repeat purchases, etc.
Great.
I'll just add one point. Choose a list of categories that you can supply, and supply chain is supporting you. Put that list of categories on the website for the customers to give you immediate feedback at hand. Your minimal viable product will be tested then and there. He will say, you can make a supply chain of these 5-7 products. The customer says, I'm interested for these 5-7 projects. You get a maximum feedback. Go into that first 2-3-4 products, or 5-7 products or categories. I will not say category is a big word, but possibly one category or two categories where maximum range that you can supply inside. You will become positioned also for that range in that particular website for this period of time. Then going for so many. See, retail is a big segment. So many categories are already there. So if you go for so many categories, then you may land up in trouble. See supply chain which can support you. See the vendors that can support you, and choose selectively categories and take a customer feedback. Your viability in the experimental model will come right, and then you can implement it with the lower costings, customer friendly way, and the supply chain promise is delivered. Your conviction will stand true in that case. Yeah.
Correct. So, as I told you, we need to wrap because we are already crossing the time. But I'm sure the viewers, after I can see the number of comments that people are putting and asking, I couldn't get time to put the question in front of you. So the session was really insightful for me, even because as I began my journey with starting up with an MVP, I know how much challenges I face and how many failures I face, and seeing and listening you guys, and now I recall them and see and think that I could have done better at that time at my MVP stage. But thank you so much, guys, to join me today in this live webinar, giving your insights on how to build strategies, like building strategies for an MVP. And I'm sure you guys are reachable on LinkedIn, but still, if anybody wants to reach you for mentoring or guidance or anything, how are you reachable in the ecosystem? If you can share.
I will share the email ID of mine and possibly a mobile number also, so that if people feel to connect on WhatsApp first, that will be better. And email ID to anything that they want to share. I just write on do I write in the chat?
Okay.
Do I write that number in the chat, or do I give you later on?
No, you can give me later on. I'll definitely pass on to the audience later on. How about you, Chintan? Yeah. How about you, Chintan?
Yeah, I've just mentioned the URL of our website.
Okay. Yeah.
To reach me through that, or Chintan at startupoasis.in. in. That's my email ID.
Great. So thank you so much for joining in, guys. Thank you so much for your
Thank you.
precious time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye bye.
Bye.
So guys, thank you for seeing my live session today again with both the speakers who were speaking on the strategies for building your MVP, because I understand that the people who started with their minimal viable product got stuck because of this COVID-19 situation. Talking about the resources, or even if you want to travel from one place to another, or or take the feedbacks of your potential, who would be your potential clients or would be paying to you later. So that's why this webinar was held, so that you could understand how can things be better with you in later scenario and in the current scenario. So coming to the very next webinar that we will be having on 29th, which is totally on your business strategies, how you can build your business model for your MVP. Then after validating your MVP, and then again talking about what would be the scenarios later on post COVID-19 and how your model should be. So till then, stay tuned and do follow the page for the next updates and notifications of the webinars on our LinkedIn page here. And you can always follow me on LinkedIn. Just write Priyanka Mandani or Easy to Pitch, or anything you want to sort out regarding your pitch, your fundraise, or anything, you can always reach us on Easy to Pitch. Thank you so much for watching us.